Welcome to the JustUs Express. My name is JustUs, and today I have Sarah Snyder on the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
She's doing good. She's doing good. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming on here. We've known each other for about 9 years, I would say. How old were you when we met?
I think I was either 20 or 21.
20 or 21? Because I know that you were at my 16th birthday. We have photos of you at my 16th birthday. You've known me for a really long time. You knew me before I really started to pursue my company. You knew me before all of that, correct?
Yes.
What would you say has been your best and your worst experience with me? I mean, we'll play a clip real quick right here.
Are you filming? Yes. Awesome. Okay. First time in my life I'm trying scotch. I want this moment for the rest of my life, so if I ever have kids, I can show them. Okay, here we go.
Considering kind of how far I've come, the differences that, I've had to, all the things I've had to kind of go through, what would you say has been your best and your worst experience with me as a person?
I would say the worst experience was when you had basically shut me out as a friend, and when you were going through things in your life.
Why was that the worst period of time?
Because I needed a friend, and at that time, you had, kind of cussed me out and shut that friendship down. And that kind of hurt as a friend, and that hurt me.
I know I've apologized to you before, but I want to apologize to you again for that. What has been your best experience with me?
Oh, way back when we were living in Bonners, we hanged out, we talked. I went, like you guys said, I went to your birthday party. I believe I went to your mom's birthday party. We went bowling. We went and played pool.
That's true. Sorry, go ahead. I wasn't trying to interrupt you. Go ahead, please continue.
That's all the good memories and even now our friendship, still continues. We still have that friendship, and I feel like it's growing stronger now than the time when you had shut that friendship down.
That's part of the reason why I wanted to bring you onto this podcast, because this podcast is important to me. It's part of the work I'm doing. We've had, with the shorts that we posted from this podcast, we've had over 150,000 views alone just from this podcast. And I thank you, everyone who's been watching. But that's part of the reason I want to bring you on here is I want to include you into what's really important to me, because I want to show you that you're important to me. How would you describe me in 1 minute or less?
Amazing. Great person, great gentleman, and above all, just a fantastic friend.
Why would you describe me like that after everything that we've been through? Why do you continue to describe me in that light despite the darkness?
I would say, throughout that darkness and even now, I still have always considered you as a friend. And I always had those memories of when we hanged out in Bonners.
I really did love hanging out in Bonners. I literally just went to the library to print out your questions. I remember that you and I used to walk to the library all the time. That was like our spot. That was like our meeting spot, I think. Yeah. I think that this question could probably, because I'm sure that there are other people in your life, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there are other people in your life who have not treated you well either.
Correct.
Why are you loyal to me and to those people who have been hurtful to you? Why do you continue to be loyal to those people as a friend, even after everything that you've been through with those people, myself included? Because
I've always held a friendship, and I always was taught growing up to, accept apology, and to kind of work out that situation through the bad and the good parts of friendships. And that's what I do that with, not with just you, but with a lot of my other friends that, try to, shut me down. And I tell them, like, if there's something going on, something bugging you, or if you're going through something in your life, feel free to call me, text me, and I can give the best advice that I can as a friend.
What kind of advice would you give to people who have cut out others in their life who've done things like I have to you, what would be your advice to them if their desire is to reconcile that relationship?
One, I would probably say, sit down with that person and discuss the situation, what led to the friendship being, them going different directions. And like I said, sit down, talk with them, discuss about it, and figure out how they can remend their friendship and come closer together as friends.
That's good advice. Have you ever had a friendship that you weren't able to reconcile?
Yes.
Is it something that if you were able to reconcile that relationship, would you?
Probably not, because those kind of people look at me as, I'm not a great person. I'm not what they want as a friend. They want drama and, all that. And I don't like to have or cause drama and I pick the right kind of friends like you and that, are just great people.
Earlier, I think we're going to take just a quick subject change. We have a few minutes left. Earlier, you said, we were talking about how you found our channel and the first video that you watched when you found our channel. What was that video again?
It was with your sisters.
With my sisters. And then what other videos have you seen recently from our channel?
I would say that's probably the only one that I've watched so far. I just haven't had the chance to go and watch any other videos, which I plan on doing because I like watching YouTube videos, and I haven't watched any of your YouTube in a long time. But
did you not watch the interview with Dave Schumann?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's the other one I watched too.
Okay, go ahead.
That actually I actually liked it. He answered every question that you had asked. He said what needed to be said. And I believe that he would make a great sheriff. Do
you remember, I'm going to have to bleep their names here, but do you remember Schumann from The Hangout?
No, I don't.
Do you remember David and...
Yes.
Okay, so you remember his girlfriend?
I don't think I've ever met her.
She was definitely around. She definitely hung around. But anyway, girlfriend at the time is now ex-girlfriend, but girlfriend at the time, that is Dave Schumann's daughter.
Wow. I didn't know that at all.
So I know two of his daughters, and I thought that I didn't even find that out until after I got the interview with him. I got the interview with him and then found out after the fact that I knew two of his daughters.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that. I probably don't remember some things I do and don't remember. Well,
I really love the things that you're having to say. We're going to take a quick break to answer a comment, and we'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Hi there. I have no idea how I want to do this, but I do know that I have wanted to include a section in each podcast solely dedicated to answering comments from our previous videos. And almost all of those comments have come through YouTube Shorts. And not just that, we also have Instagram Reels and stuff like that. But they've all come, the majority of the comments have come through Shorts, through short form content. On our latest video, Dave Schumann, Sheriff for the People, we have Caribou Dispatch commented, Clayfield, you are very good at interviews. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Everyone here at Clayfield works really hard to produce the highest quality content possible. So thank you very much for that comment. I got another comment here from Eddie Madden. Very good interview, Dave. Well done. And that is directly to Dave Schumann. And I want to say personally to Dave Schumann, thank you very much for your interview and for the work that you put in for that. I really appreciate all the time that you dedicated to that. Ruth Dana, awesome, with a heart emoji. Great job. Thank you very much. Again, we work as hard as possible to produce high quality content. Okay, let's see here. A comment on a short, best improv moments. Don't effing include Leo wiping blood from his hand that he just cut on a glass onto Kerry Washington's face. For real, that was messed up. However well it played out on camera. Understood. You don't like that footage. I understand that completely. I thought that was a very good scene. I think it definitely did a good job of depicting how awful that time period was for certain people. It was a very, very it was a very difficult time in a lot of ways. I live in Charleston County and have gone by the site of the fire. Today stands a memorial with a stone marking the spot each body was found, and CFD Station 11 adjacent with 9 full height windows overlooking the memorial. A bell rings 9 times at 9 a.m. every single day there. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. That has to do with a story, a little story that an individual by the name of Gabe told me during that episode, talking about a firefighter who had been a part of the Charleston 9, been a part of the Charleston 9 fire. He'd been one of the firefighters working on that and been one of the people who lost those 9 firefighters, been one of their friends. And after that, he didn't want to be a firefighter anymore. He went into making tattoos, and this individual, Gabe, taught him how to tattoo. And so many years later, that firefighter comes back and gives him a tattoo, and we have footage of that in that episode. Very good episode. Really loved that interview. Very good story. But that's very interesting about that. So if anyone who lives in that area knows, if anyone who lives in Charleston County can confirm that for me, I would love that. That would be absolutely fantastic. Well, I think that'll be all the comments that I'm going to answer for today. I really appreciate you all watching the JustUs Express. And right now we're going to get back to our interview with Sarah Snyder. All right, welcome back. How are you doing?
Good as ever.
Good as ever. Good as ever. Good answer. Good answer. Jumping right in with a question. What is the biggest change that you've observed in me as a person?
From then to now, I would say you're more of a great talker. You're better at talking with me than you were then. Like our communication, the way we talk or text is better.
Better how? In what way?
If I ask something or I say something, you are able to answer it correctly. And I would say from when I had reconnected, with you, you had told me that you were going through a rough patch at that time and that you completely have changed from then to now.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I do. And I 100% believe it. And even the way we text, the way we talk to each other now is way, I'm going to say 100% better.
I think the biggest problem with me was I drank a lot of hard liquor for a very long time. I was very addicted to alcohol, and that really influenced a lot of the decisions that I made and the interactions that I had with others. Are you there? You okay?
No, I'm here.
Okay. I just didn't know. I didn't know if you disappeared on me. What is the biggest change that you've observed in yourself as a person since, let's say, when we met versus now? So in the last 9 years, what would you say is the biggest change that you've observed in you as a person? I
would say have more strength in myself, more courage, and to tell myself, I'm a fighter. I'm not that same person. Back then, I was going through my parents' separation, to hanging with the wrong crowd, to dating the wrong kind of guys, and being involved with those people. And now, I see myself better, stronger, and I don't let anything that anyone says judge or anything about me from my lifestyle, from what I have accomplished. And I'm a lot happier in myself than I was. That's a great answer. I love the answer. That's good. That's a good answer. This is not on our question list, and I hope you don't mind me asking. You mentioned in a conversation with me one day, and I loved your awareness on this topic, but you told me that you used to dress a lot more in a much more revealing manner, and it was in a much more provocative fashion. Am I correct? Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I used to, dress. The reason why I dressed that way is because I was single. I was going through situations in my life, and I realized that was not, I should have done what I had done. And changing my whole style of clothing is more modest, more appropriate, and I don't want to attract other guys looking at things they shouldn't be looking at, because the way today's society, where young girls are dressing immodest, exposing parts and things that shouldn't be is going to attract men. And there we have other older guys that look at younger girls and they think, okay, she's attractive but she's young, I still want this kind of stuff with these young girls. And seeing that all over social media is just heartbreaking to me, to why parents allow their kids to dress this way when they know there's a lot of guys out there that will look at them. And it's like, even on social media, we don't know what kind of guys are seeing pictures of young girls. They can screenshot it, they can keep it in their phones, or they can sell the photos. And even in today's society, there's a lot of sex trafficking that goes around. And, that's something that parents need to be aware of, what they allow their daughters to wear.
You are absolutely right. I really appreciate you going and saying all of that. Very, very good. Very good. Not just an opinion, but that is it's a principle. It's a very specific principle. I mean, however you dress is going to determine how people perceive you.
Correct.
I honestly don't even have to expound on that any further. It's that basic. However you dress is how people are going to perceive you. So if you want to control people's perception of you and you don't want them to perceive you in a certain light, then you don't dress certain ways.
Yes.
You currently have a fiancé in prison who will soon be released. Why is he in prison, and why are you marrying him?
The reason why he's first in prison is because he had sex with an underage minor. And this girl's father recorded the conversation that he had with him and took it into the police and reported it. And they had arrested him. He spent a month in jail. And he had fled the state of Idaho to where I was currently then living in Arkansas. And they had put a warrant out for his arrest because he had fled the state while on probation. And because of that, they had ended up finding him, arresting him. And to kind of put it a little forward, is back in 2022, he got out and was on probation. And he was doing okay. We were communicating. But his probation officer said, no communicate. You guys can't talk, no nothing. And thinks that I'm not a mature adult woman who's, even though I have a disability, my only disability is a learning disability. And throughout that time of the no contact, he started slipping down. He had another girl in his life she had 2 young girls that were minors. And one thing with his probation is he's not supposed to be around minors. Oh. And his PO found about it. He had called his PO numerous times stating, that I'm with this woman. She's got 2 kids. But his PO never called him back. Basically, when he went to go meet with his PO basically said to him that he was going to get arrested. So that's what the cause is why he's back in prison. And now the reason why I'm marrying him, I've known him for 11 years. He's been the only love of my life. He's been my best friend. He's been and had meaning to me. And he, went through a divorce with his first wife, and he never had that actual connection with her. Like he and I have a connection together, and he just makes me happy. He just brings so much joy and light into my life, and he's the amazing man and amazing person.
But I want to come back and ask a few more questions about your fiance, if that's all right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm okay with it.
So I just want to clarify, is your fiance a registered sex offender?
No, he is not. He does not have to be registered as a sex offender, even though this girl was an underage minor. The judge sees him as just a normal person who made a mistake and said that you don't have to register as a sex offender. So that won't stop him from getting a job or from us having kids in the future.
What made the judge decide that he didn't classify as a sex offender, and that, as you say, he's a normal person. Why? Why did the judge come to that decision?
I would say with what the judge sees and read the paperwork, what was it? She was a minor, and it was his first time, his first situation that ended up in the wrong way. And the judge does not see him as a threat to any young kids, especially young girls.
Knowing him personally, because he is your fiance after all, and why would you say, knowing him personally, that he's not a threat to anyone in any way?
Because, of course, I've known him for 11 years, but I never have seen him as a threat to anyone ever, including me. He's never laid a hand on me. He's never abused me or made me do things that I don't want to do. He will always ask me, and I'd be like, if I say no, then he's like, okay, let's not do with what I had asked. And I feel like if he's even around other people, he's more calm, he's more collect, or he just connects with people, and he can instantly make a friend, and that's who he is as a person. And I see him as a normal man who did make a mistake, who did something wrong, but he's learned the consequences. He's learned from what he had done, and he's realizing that he had messed up.
Why do you think he ever got to that point of making that mistake?
Well, the reason why I would say is because he was physically and emotionally abused through his ex-wife, and she had put him through hell, and she was controlling, and if she wanted anything, she had to get it, and she would throw a tantrum and a fit just to get her way. And what led him to doing what he had done is because he wanted someone else and not his wife, because he wanted what's the word? I can't think of the word. All right. But he just had a very rough marriage with his ex-wife. It wasn't going the way he thought it was and what he wanted in a marriage, and wasn't happy.
How long have you known him again?
I've known him for 11 years.
Everything that you're telling me is based off of those 11 years of experience.
Yes.
I love the answer. We're going to keep talking about that when we come back from this brief ad intermission. If we really have free speech, then why can't I say the word nigger?
Do you think that Justice is like a racist for saying what he said?
It does trigger something.
The entire point that I was making when I said that word was, if we really have free speech in this country...
Not free speech. Like, if you had free speech, there wouldn't be penalty for saying certain. Like, if there's penalty for saying certain, that ain't free speech.
There are always consequences to an action.
What did you do exactly?
Took off my clothes and stood there. I got the fear really bad reading that doggone Google News. Yellowstone's gonna blow, a meteor's gonna hit, a war's gonna start. It's all promoted to make you feel fear.
Now, you can say whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. You can do whatever you want to do. You know what that's called? Free will. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. How are you doing?
Good.
How was the break?
Good. I listen to music.
Yeah, what song?
I Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
I love that song.
Crazy Rich Asians.
What did you think of that movie?
Loved it.
Really? What was your favorite thing about that movie?
The wedding part.
I've never seen that movie. What do you mean by the wedding part?
So it's like this lady and her fiance, they traveled back to his home country where he's from for a family member's wedding. And through that, they had optical complications in their engagement due to his mother, not wanting her son to marry this woman that he's engaged to. And they have their ups, their downs. At the end, they do eventually get married.
Well, I will have to check out that movie sometime. So we'll jump back in with the conversation we were having before. We were talking about your fiance. Now, before we proceed any further, I want to clarify something. Your fiance has never actually, is he guilty of what he was accused of? I want to clarify on this for our audience.
No, he's not guilty. No, he is not guilty at all.
Why was this charge placed on him then?
Because this girl was a minor. And she has a disability. He told me she had a disability, and she was a minor. And of his age, in the state of Idaho, it's legal to have that type of contact with a minor. So
he technically is guilty of what he was charged in.
Yeah, with what the judge sees. Yeah.
How old was he at the time of this? At the time of the incident, not the charge.
I would say probably maybe 25, 24, 26, around those three.
Oh, wow. Okay. And do you mind me asking the age of the girl?
17.
She was 17. Okay. What has been the most difficult part of your relationship with an incarcerated man?
Long distance. One, because he's all the way in Idaho, I'm all the way here in Texas. Long distance, and worried constantly, what he's going through in there, struggling mentally, emotionally. And what's really hard for me is we're not able to have more private conversations because all the phone calls are monitored and recorded for purposes and for their policy. And I believe the other thing is when he's feeling down or depressed or just concerned or anything, I tell him, I'm able to talk with him, calm him down, have him breathe in and out. And I use a more calmer voice, and he understands, that I'm helping him every day. And it is hard for us, both of us, because we've been away from each other for 3.5 years, and it's a struggle for me and for him.
What is the most valuable lesson that you've learned through this experience?
I would probably say that I'm able to be like a counselor with him and be more of a counseling to bring him back up than him being pulled down to the darkness, and lift him up, lift his spirit up, and give him the encouraging words I can as his fiance is what the best I can do for him. And every time I give him advice or whatever I say, he will talk to me and call me next time, and he'll tell me that with what I said was right, what I said helped him, even though it's hard. And even on our phone calls, I can tell that something's going on because the tone of his voice, he has more of a downer voice, and I try to bring him back up, but it's very hard to get him up out of the he has PTSD, he's got depression, and especially being in prison, around all the other guys, it's not helping him in that type of environment.
Especially with the charge that he has, how has that environment been with him considering his charge?
Hard. It is very hard. What it is he's worried if he's around younger kids, minors, if he's going to end up back in there, which we do not want him back in prison. We want him to finish this, get out, and put this in the past, even though, we all know what happened, what the situation was. and to kind of move forward and move by taking baby steps forward is what we can do.
Upon your fiance's release, we have about 2.5 minutes left, so I'd like to give you a few minutes to answer this question. Upon your fiance's release, he will once again have access to public internet forums such as these, such as this podcast, for instance. What do you have to say to him when he watches this episode? Because I'm sure that he will.
I would tell him, that it's a great experience. I got to experience something that I've never done, and he would really like to watch it. The other thing is he won't have any social media platforms. He's not going to have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. He's not going to have that because he doesn't want that in his life. He's okay with me having social media, but he prefers to not have social media, not because draw him to things. It's more of a distraction when he needs to focus on the probation and focus on us, with our marriage and helping my family around our ranch and just living the life out of social media.
I understand. But again, what would be the message? Because like you say, he's probably going to watch this. What would be the message that you would want him to hear on this podcast?
I would probably tell him, that, like I said, it was my first experience, that he will be able to see with what I'm saying and hear, and that I'm speaking from my heart and I'm speaking with what is right and what has changed in so many ways for me and for him. And I believe that he will watch it and be proud of me.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. I love the answer so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on to the JustUs Express. I really thank you so much. I really appreciate that a lot.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say to our audience briefly before we sign off?
I would probably say that, one, go watch this and kind of listen to what I have said, from my experience in my life to our friendship to what I'm, going through, helping my fiance, working towards us getting married and moving on and moving forward in our lives. It's, I was earlier talking about, young, for girls, like saying modesty compared to from modesty to not modesty, to parents, if they watch this, for them to, sit and realize that their kids can be exposed to other men through the way they dress.
Very true.
Same with social media. Today in society, young kids have social media. And I would say if your kid is like in middle school, elementary, or in junior high, they shouldn't have social media at all until they're like in high school or they are out of the house. Because kids get lured into social media. There's a show that I watched called Undercover Underage, and it's a great show. I do recommend it because it will help parents to see that there are men out there that will draw their girls, young girls, into sending inappropriate photos or saying inappropriate things that a grown man should not be saying to a young girl.
That's great advice. I really appreciate that a lot, and I hope that our audience will take that to heart. Thank you so much for coming on, and I hope that you have enjoyed this train of thought.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.